So, I want to continue to talk about the topic of fear. For me, I always have this ever present reminder in the back of my head of how fleeting life is. I often find myself thinking when I'm with my loved ones, or I'm in an experience, or even just how I am as myself in the present moment. I think how, wow, there's never going to be another version of me on this planet ever again. I, as this version of me, will never again have this experience. I will never have this moment in time with this person I love exactly as we are ever again. And I never know for how long I will have moments with someone that I love. And I'm thankful of this reminder because I feel that we so often take life, we take waking up and having breath for granted, when truly the only thing that we are guaranteed is nothing. Like, we're not guaranteed anything. We're not guaranteed to be breathing by this evening. We're not guaranteed to, wake up and be able to have a cup of coffee. Maybe our coffee machine's going to break. Nothing is for certain. And lately I have just been finding myself coming back to this present moment and this breath and the gratefulness that I have within me for this physical body and this experience that I'm living. Even if it's not all that I want it to be or think it should be, it's like, what an absolute freaking miracle that we're all here on this planet together. And I just often find myself thinking of, when I look back on my life, I do not want it to be full of what ifs. And it's like that saying that goes, whenever we don't do something, it's not often the things we do that we regret. It's often the things that we do not do, the things that we were too afraid to do. The job we were too afraid to take, the flight we were too afraid to book, the person we were too afraid to meet. I never want to look back on my life and think to myself, wow, I wish I would have done that. So I try to hold that perspective whenever fear arises, because I never want to let the fear of, failing or something going wrong hold me back from something that is meant for me. And I just want to remind you all of that, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if things don't go as planned. It doesn't matter if we mess up. It doesn't matter if we fail. It doesn't matter if something goes, quote unquote, horribly wrong. Because if you are living in that presence and that connection with the source, which you are, then from that perspective, from that place, nothing can go wrong. Nothing can be the wrong choice. Nothing can be a mistake or a mess up. And that can be hard to accept when our minds or our egos view the experience through the lens of self-judgment, or our ego thinking that things didn't go as planned, that we could have done better, that we made the wrong choice. But the fact of the matter is, there are no wrong choices. There's only ever a choice. And to let fear stand in your way of making a choice, let alone making the one that your soul is calling you to do, it's just silly, right? It's so silly. We all get so caught up in our mind and our own subconscious programming that taints and filters our perspectives, and we often get so enmeshed in that we find it hard to realize and hear our own voice, to remember that our souls are infinitely and always connected to infinite intelligence, to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And from that place, you are always so safe. You are always so held. Any fear, it's like it's just lifted and you can allow it to burn away when you rest in the stillness of that knowingness, that infinite intelligence, that source is pumping through your veins, that is running through your body, that is coming in and out with every breath, and that you're so safe, that you're so protected, that you do know the way, that you do receive your guidance, that you are held, that you do make the right choices. It's the mind, the ego, that tries to tell us otherwise. So next time you find yourself in a state of fear, not knowing what to do next, feeling scared, just pause, take a deep breath, and sit in that stillness of the breath for just a moment. And allow the mind to settle. Allow your thoughts to drop down into the body. And from that space, see what you find. You'll find a lot less thoughts, a lot less worry, anxiety, fear, confusion. These states often arise from the mind, from the parts of ourselves that have forgotten or momentarily feel disconnected from our higher selves, from the source aspect, which we are. And it's a daily, if not every moment, practice of coming back to this place. So yeah, I just wanted to offer that all for consideration of how this life, you as you are in this body, in this personality with all your so-called flaws and things you don't like about yourself, it's all beautiful, it's perfect, and never, ever again, ever will this version of you, will this person exist on this planet. And life is so fleeting. We never know how many moments we will have in this body. We never know how many moments we will have with the person we love. So yeah, hopefully this can serve as a reminder of the beauty but also fragility of life, and how nothing is a guarantee. We aren't guaranteed anything. There is nothing that has to be done for us, nothing that we are entitled to. So yeah, this is a reminder for myself and perhaps for others to never let fear be your deciding factor for whether you make a decision, for whether you do the thing that you want to do, no matter what anyone else thinks, no matter how scary it is. When you look back on your life, you're going to regret the things you didn't do, that you were too afraid to do, the times that you let fear make your decisions. I've never regretted any choice that I made. I've made some pretty crazy choices in my time, but looking back, they don't seem crazy at all. They just seem like the choices that were always meant to be made. The choices that exist for us outside of fear.